keep saying printed out on paper, and it's actually cut out on the Cricut on vinyl. It's a little bit different than printing out on paper, but I'm hoping that you know what I mean. I'm hoping that the picture tells all. Hiya, it's Wendy here again from Toonpish Crafts, and I hope you're doing okay. Today I'm having a play around with some resin, and I'm also going to try and see if I can get less bubbles underneath vinyl when I put it onto resin. When I've used it before, haven't done many pieces, and I've got bubbles everywhere, so I thought I'd try out the water technique to see if that works. So come with me on my journey and playing around with colours and resin, and let's see if I can get rid of some bubbles under some vinyl. Okay, so this is a tray mould that I bought for a different project. It was too shallow for the project that I wanted, and it's covered in fluff, even though it's brand new. So I'm cleaning it up with a piece of tape, which you should always do really when you get a mould out, because you never know what has attracted to it. I'm using Vista Turbo today. Now, one of the reasons I'm using it is because it's a quick cure resin. It cures within 4 to 6 hours. The other reason is I want to play around with the colours. I'm going to be putting 4 different blues into this tray, and I want to create a pattern in the resin. Now, there is a time with each resin, once you've manipulated it, it won't move. Resins will automatically move when they're curing, but there is a time when it won't move anymore, and I want to find that time. I know that Vista Cascade takes 90 minutes. 90 minutes, and then the resin won't move anymore before it's curing, or around that time depending on ambient temperature. But if you want to make things like flowers, you really need to play with your resin to find out. So this is straight after mixing them together, and I'm adding the 4 different colours. Now, I haven't told you which blues because they were just random blues that I had in my drawer. If you want to know what colour blues they are, I will list them below. Let me know in the comments. One of them has glitter in, and I know glitter sinks. Unless you put it on top, glitter does sink, and it's a shame really, because glitter's so sweet, and I really wanted it to stay, but no. Now you can see it's already starting to merge at the sides. So this is about 10 minutes after mixing. Now this pattern is absolutely gorgeous, and if I'd have done this pattern later, it would have stayed, but I needed to know what's the time scale for this particular resin. Every resin's different, and this one's a quick cure, so I really would like to know how long I have to wait. I want to say a quick thank you to all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It does help my channel out, and comments are very, very welcome. Now you can see there that after half an hour it is moved, so I'm going to do it again. Now I do it 2 or 3 times to try and get the time scale for this resin, and from what I worked out, it's about 40 minutes from mixing, between 35 and 40 minutes mixing, where the resin won't actually move anymore. So that has helped me a great deal. And to boot, I've got a nice pattern on my blue tray. So this is 24 hours later, the next day, and I'm squirting it with isopropyl alcohol because I'm going to be putting some vinyl on there, and I wanted to see if it would work to get rid of bubbles. Now you might be thinking, what the heck is she doing that is going to destroy the glue? And yes, you're right, it did destroy the glue. The glue would not stick, but I needed to try it. I needed to find out if it worked. It didn't work. Don't do this. Isopropyl alcohol does not help things. So then, after cleaning it off, I tried the water technique. I printed out another Pegasus on the same paper, and I tried the water technique. This worked a lot better. It's not perfect, it still has bubbles, but it does work a lot better than none at all. I keep saying printed out on paper, and it's actually cut out on the Cricut on vinyl. It's a little bit different than printing out on paper, but I'm hoping that you know what I mean. I'm hoping that the picture tells all. But look how easy this is coming off. There is a couple of bubbles right in the main body, but the rest is absolutely beautiful. So I was well impressed with that water technique, got to be honest. Bit annoyed about the bubbles in the middle, but you can't have everything, can you? I really do have a thing for holographic film at the moment, holographic vinyl. It's absolutely stunning stuff. I've really got a thing for it. Anyway, the following day I've mixed up some resin and I've put some white Vista pigment in it. I'm also going to do one of the blues that I had on the tray in the beginning, and I've got quite a lot of clear resin. Now this time I'm going to be testing the temperature. It's 93.5 on that one. Because the clear is a larger volume, it's already at 105 and the smaller one is at 93. So as it's 105, you can't leave it too much more than that. Once the temperature starts rising, it will go up really quickly and end up exothermic because it's a shallow pore resin and it's in a large quantity. So as the white's 99, the blue isn't quite as hot, but it'll do. So now I can pour it round the edges. Now the idea here is that it won't mix in because it's a higher temperature. And that would have been the case if I hadn't have got a lolly stick out and started mixing it. But I wanted it up to the edges, if you see what I mean. Wanted it right up to the edge. So I did use a lolly stick to mix it a little. And that kind of set the process off a bit. If I'd have left the colours a little bit longer, it wouldn't have mixed hardly at all. But sometimes you just can't stop yourself, can you? And I couldn't stop myself. And I just kept squirting isopropyl alcohol. I even used heat on this as well, which probably didn't help, but it still turned out okay. This is the next day, and although you can see the horse through it, you can see the background through it, it mixed too much. But it's still a learning process and I'm happy with what I've done. I'm happy with the outcome, really. So now I'm going to put on a little bit more water and another Pegasus, a bit smaller in a different colour. I want to make sure I've got him where I want him, and the water does help with that. Again, I did have a couple of tiny bubbles in the body itself. Other than that, it worked a dream, the water. Might try it with a little bit of dish soap in it next time. I'm happy with the way it's come out though. To me, it looks like kind of mystical dream clouds. What do you see? So the following day I decided to put a little bit of wording on it so that you can see which way is up, because I like the horse to be kind of rearing up rather than flying. And the wording is, let your dreams fly, and I just thought that was so sweet. What words would you put on there? I'm intrigued to know. Let me know in the comments below. So then I poured what I thought was going to be the final layer. I actually decided later I was going to top coat it after it was out of the mould, but that's another story. So this was what I thought was going to be the final layer. So I used heat instead of isopropyl alcohol, and I made sure it was right up to the edge. So 24 hours later and it's time to demold. So speeding you through the demold here to the final outcome at this point. Back looks lovely, love the blue. Now I did decide at this point that I was going to do the edges, so I needed to sand a little bit so that they weren't so sharp. So I got a nail file and I just went around the entire outside edge just quickly to get rid of the sharp edges. If you hold the nail file at a 45-degree angle to the edge, you'll only touch the edge and you won't ruin your piece or the rest of the edge underneath. And putting it onto a spare mould, I'm using the Decor Colour Premium Silver to go around the outside. Nearly run out of this. It's surprising how far it goes when there's not much in the can. Well, that's what it feels like anyway. So I'm just pushing the pen onto the edge, and so you get a nice clean line right the way round. Trying to do it while I'm showing you. Easier to do it sitting on the coaster though. So I'll go right the way around the outside edge with a line. Then tip it sideways and do the flat edge. And this is why I need to top coat again. Well, today is Monday and the video goes up tomorrow, so I haven't had a chance to top coat it. I have covered the back with liquid latex, ready to top coat. I've just not managed to get it done yet, but I absolutely love it. Now, I was only playing around with colours, I was playing around with vinyl, But you know what, sometimes just mucking around with something can give you something that you really love, and I do love this. I think I'm going to put this up on my wall in my bedroom because I just think it's so sweet. So yeah, have a play around with colours, have a play around with vinyl if you've got a Cricut. If not, you can still play around with vinyl. But yeah, thanks for watching this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Come back and see me next week. I've got lots of things planned, and I am going to be a bit more prepared, I think, in the future. I can't believe I'm so behind. Anyway, enjoy your week, happy crafting, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.